So let's get this started and let's talk about Loki solo. Loki is a god who has a kit that is designed to be in a lane because of how easy and efficient the decoy is at clearing the way. Now the question is, why is Loki designed to be in the lane and not in the jungle? Because I just said it is easy and efficient to clear with decoy. The answer is because of the fact that Loki's decoy is only used for clearing which is why he isn't good at jungling. Loki only has one ability that can clear efficiently, but for that decoy to clear efficiently, it is required to upgrade it almost fully, which leaves Loki's only fighting abilities weak because the skill points are used in the decoy rather than, his main damaging abilities. A simpler way to explain this would be because of the fact that Loki doesn't have an ability that is used for fighting and clearing, unlike a Willix who can clear and fight with her 2 and 3, for example, is what makes him lane dependent. In solo, he doesn't need to gank, so he is free of having his fighting abilities to be not upgraded. This clears up why Loki isn't a jungler and why Loki needs to be in a lane. However, another question would be is, if Loki is a god who needs to be in a lane, then why isn't he popular in mid or duo? The answer isn't the fact that Loki himself can't handle other lanes besides solo. This is about certain gods are needed in those other lanes to have a good mixture of magical burst, physical burst, frontline, etc. For example, you typically see mages in mid and hunters in duo. Loki is neither a mage or a hunter, so he wouldn't fit in the current meta. But wait, why can't the mage go solo and have Loki go mid, or have a hunter go mid and Loki go duo, and so forth? This is because each lane does things differently and has some prerequisites in order to perform well in the current meta. If Loki went mid, then he is responsible for rotating and ganking as well as doing good in teamfights, which happen a lot in mid lane. Loki does have a good or even better rotation than average mage because he can stealth past wards without being detected and gains movement speed, but like before, Loki needs to upgrade his decoy to efficiently compete against the enemy mage, which will then weaken your only ganking abilities. And Loki is known to be bad in teamfights, so no arguments there. For duo lane, Loki is responsible to carry the team and also responsible to shut the enemy hunter down. Now, Loki in duo lane can perform better than mid because of the fact that you don't need to rotate as much in duo lane. Also, it is easy to kill your squishy enemy, the hunter. But early on, you are forced to split XP, unlike in solo, for a bit, and duo lane is ganked frequently as well, which means more teamfights. This isn't good for Loki. So now I have discussed why Loki isn't fit in those lanes. Now and lastly, let's talk about Loki in solo lane and why he is actually bad in solo lane and why he actually hurts the team. Short answer is this. Loki is good in solo for selfish reasons, and Loki in general isn't an efficient god to pick up in Conquest at all. So if you want to be good at Conquest and win, do not pick up Loki. Loki is not a god built for Conquest. Long answer is this. Loki solo is good for easy farm and doesn't have to worry about enemy rotations as much as compared to other lanes. However, Loki solo will also guarantee the enemy's solo lane farm as well, since you cannot fight without the risk of losing your clear potential. Loki solo also sets up the enemy invades early, which is a disadvantage to you and your fellow jungler. So you will be invaded a lot if you go Loki solo. Loki solo also gets bullied by the enemy solo laner, who we are assuming is a warrior since they are known to be in solo in this meta. And lastly, but the biggest problem about Loki solo is the lack of front line. Loki going anywhere from losing a mage in mid or losing a hunter in duo, Loki will also lose the team's front line, which is crucial for late game. Now, I am aware for not mentioning about split pushing, which is something that Loki's pretty decent at doing, but like I said before, it is a selfish idea. People do argue, however, is that split pushing removes some pressure for your team, but I like to counteract that by saying that your team wouldn't even be pressured, or be in pressure, if you hadn't picked Loki in the first place. Now here's my proposal and fun/cool idea of making Loki solo better for the team. This is also a risky thing to perform, and if not done correctly, it will just make things a lot worse. The idea is to get HOG, or Wrath, whichever you like to call it, and invade the enemy. That is right. Loki will invade the enemy, which is completely the opposite of what Loki does. This involves putting your only skill point at level 1 in your Vanish ability, so no decoy at level 1. This will allow a safe retreat for once you have taken the enemy's speed camp. Yes, the speed camp, meaning that you won't be going for the blue camp. In this video, I have invaded the enemy's speed camp at level 1 and stolen Hoonbat's speed, which slows down the enemy jungler and ultimately benefits your team. Now, I kind of forgot to actually push the recording button until later on. I'm like saying, oh shoot, why am I not recording this? So that's why you haven't seen the beginning part, but you will see me try to steal the speed buff multiple times with HOG. Now, after you've stolen the speed, you vanish out and meet at your blue with your jungler and play the rest normally. For now. Your jungler will be basically doing the speed by himself, which he is more capable of doing so. Later on, every time the enemy speed camp is back up, your immediate goal is to steal it again, and again, and again. You may pick it up if you wish, but I recommend, honestly, just sticking with blue for the mana and the cooldown reduction. You may also use your HOG for stun secures, or even secure objectives. So, if you have HOG, you can actually stun people more than one person and get away with it. I've used HOG a lot and it saved my life a bit, and it really counters Hoonbat, which is a really good pickup against him. Now let's talk about the downsides. If you fail, you will still be alive because of your vanish, but you lose an entire XP of a camp because you were not at your speed doing the camp, so you didn't get experience. Also, I never had this happening, so I'm not honestly sure what to do, but if you invade the enemy and the enemy invades you, it will be very awkward, first of all, and I don't know exactly what to do. Just imagine putting yourself in the shoes where you are invading the enemy's speed camp, and then you see them not even there, and then you turn around, you see it's a 2v1 because your poor jungler is 1v2ing. See, that could also be an issue. So I understand I don't really know what to do about that. So I'm going to be trying this more out for fun in casuals, and once I find that situation, I will see if there's a way to go around it. You're also risking of not having beads or aegis or sprint early on. So you just have HOG, you have no CC immunity, and, you can use HOG defensively, but it's not as good as aegis, beads, etc. So that is about it, guys. Tell me what you think about Loki solo with HOG, and remember this. I did test this in multiple games. In the video, this is just one game right now. I did test this in more than 3 games, and it all turned out pretty well. If you're behind in lanes, so assuming this enemy solo laner is destroying you and you're just, sucking, then be a nuisance and steal with your HOG. I was playing a game, the enemy tier was destroying me because, I don't know, tier's good. And I lost a tower and I was being outpushed and everything. But guess what I did? I still stole the enemy's jungler and I even stole the enemy's soul lane's camp, which, again, renders and weakens the enemy team, which ultimately, benefits your team. If my jungler has speed camp or speed buff and the enemy jungler doesn't, that gives our team an advantage because our jungler can rotate and gank faster and even chase and secure kills better, or even run away. So that's me about it, guys. My name is Professor Loki, and I'll see you all Loki and non-Loki players next time. Ha ha ha!